All right, so let us start. Let me share the screen and let's not waste time, but give you the link. This one. That is the link. And I'm giving it to you on chat. Okay, good morning, John from Dallas. Okay, here you are. That's the link. So once you click on the link, good morning, Charles from Raleigh. Oh, Vallejo. Hi, George. All right, great. So that's the link. You can open that. And that is what we call advances in AI. And I do two things. I tell you all the news that I saw, but I try all of them. I don't just, that is the link, Charles. Here it is again. Okay, do you have it? Okay. All right, very good, thank you. So what we do for about 2 years now is look at the latest news, but we try them. We don't emphasize the sensational and news part, rather we emphasize what you can learn from there and how does it work. And usually I try bring it into my own repository, and that's what it is. So first of all, a root bot attacked us. So it's a really standard bot. I think they are meant to be rude. So first of all, they took over the chat, and there was a lot of things on chat and too much. So the idea is that when you have a lot of things going on chat like this, then the first time it's there, it says who did it. It says I did it. But after a few hundred of these messages, you can't even figure out who it was. So that's smart, and there is no protection against that, at least nothing that I found. We could put a password, but that would be overreacting. So instead, I just said that I will not automatically allow everybody to chat. And that I think is it. That is a well-known problem with the online meetings, so nothing very, very new for that. We can even cross it if I find that thing to cross it, just because, no, I cannot find it, that's okay. Just because we want to symbolize that it's gone. No, let's do it, okay? Okay, the news. First of all, I'll go over the news from Andrew Ng, and then about new models, and then the new courses, and then the new things that we do in practice. So that's very interesting, all of that. First of all, the news from Andrew, right here. And I'm not going to do all of the news, but only the most interesting, because he goes to political meetings and he talks about the regulations, and we don't care about that, but there is a picture, that's Andrew and a nice tie. And the first practical news was this. Another course, I'll show you this course, yet another course, and I will show you that course. And that's coding assistant start to finish. So that is just like Copilot, but the latest release of Copilot, you can actually come to work and say, hey, do my work for today, the whole thing from beginning to end. But then he says that it is not perfect at all. So mostly simple things work and more complex things don't work. And I think that agrees with the current state of AI, where you see that simple things are doable, but it doesn't really understand. This AI, it has a different mind from we humans. We humans, I think we excel at many things, and it excels at other things. And that's enough about that. And then another thing is that turns out that OpenAI licensed a lot of archives, and two kinds of archives. Some of them are open, but they want to avoid possible complications, legal complications, because that question is not answered. If your bot consumes Wikipedia, can Wikipedia sue you? Because maybe what they meant is that a person, an individual, can read it all he wants, but getting it commercially, maybe that's not the terms of the license. That's one thing. And another thing that they want to protect themselves is a competition if they have some very special, like Financial Times archives. So now they become Financial Times experts. And that means that we are going into more and more interesting times where you build experts. And that's what I will talk about, building AI experts that are different and smarter than other experts. That's what he talks about. Here you are, we covered this news. But then another thing happens is that, I enjoy talking to you guys. I have an egoistic goal with that, and that is forcing myself to keep learning. Because for every Friday I need to prepare, and I would maybe, being a human, leave it for some time later. But sometime later there will be something else. So I am going through all of the new courses that come up this week. And interestingly enough, those courses doubled in speed. So last week there was one new course. This week there are 2 new courses. And as we will see, I think I figured out what Andrew wants to do. He wants to eventually make money, but right now they are all free courses and they are under trial. So he wants us all to get hooked on them, and eventually they will be useful enough and they will be making money also for the training company. That's why right now it's free, and perhaps that's why right now it makes sense to run it in your environment. So what you have here are the resources. First of all, there is a web folder, and then let's go there. And that shows you all of the resources that were ever mentioned or used in our conversation. That's one. And another one is a learning path, which keeps growing. So if somebody wants to know a lot of AI, that's a list. Right now, it came to number 40 or close to that. And the new courses are Agentic RAG and Quantization in Depth. These are the 2 new courses, even though Andrew, he mentions previous courses, for example, pair programming with Google LLM, okay, which confused me because it was called PALM, P-A-L-M programming, and indeed it is PALM. It is PLM, but they use this Google pair program. However, I think that in my mind, that was Google lost the right of the firstborn because they are not in front. So we'll talk about this and that, and we will also talk about the previous item here. Microsoft Pi. Pi is a Pi in the sense that there are little processing units called Pi, and they are to do your own computing environment, right? So Pi is the same idea. I think they do take inspiration from the Pi. And what happens here is that people ask me questions. That's lovely. They ask me, have you heard that? And maybe sometimes I didn't hear that. So at least I can think of 3 people, 2 friends and my wife, who sent me different links and asked me, have you heard about this? So that's how that came. So 5.3, it's a new version of something that already was there. But what they do is small models. Now, small models are not new. So to make it interesting, and that's the news from Microsoft. So a journalist had a hand there. To make it interesting, he says, there was one dude, Ronan L. Dunn, and he was telling bedtime stories to his daughter. And then he thought, how does she understand me? Maybe I can learn from there. And that's where he started the analogy between adult human and a little human, and so between the big LLMs and small LLMs. But the essence is you can have smaller LLMs that work just as fine or close, or for some use cases, good enough. And that's already available. And there are a few things interesting here. Microsoft Azure AI, that's essentially OpenAI, that's them, but coming through Microsoft. And therefore, for some people, it's a good thing because it's all under Microsoft and the security guarantees are stronger there on Microsoft. There's also Llama. We know that is a framework for running different models, local models on your local machine. And I showed you already that we do run such a thing. We can process a complicated form and it gets very good results, much better than you can ever get from regexes, even if AI write that regex, because it's smart and it extracts all the information. So that's a great use case. It is secure because it is residing on your local machine. So nothing is completely secure. You can break anything, but at least it has a better way to answer those who question you how secure it is. All right, so 5.3 is a small model. So it is competition to, for example, Llama and to other similar free open model here. By the way, Andrew, he does talk about open and free model and talks about will these be used by dictators and by Putin? And he says that the cat is out of the whatever, right? The genie is out of the bottle, and so you cannot hide it anyway. All right, that is the new side of things on the smaller models, and that's enough about it, because right now, 2 courses. Agentic RAG. So before we go, and I'll show you a few minutes of that, it's combining different AIs in a conversation, combining different AI where you first figure out what the question is about, then you ask appropriate LLM to answer this question. And then if it comes out to be something different, for example, you want to first answer the question and then want to summarize the answer. So ChatGPT doesn't do such things, but you can do it with this Llamaindex. Oh, let's go there. To show that, I need to stop sharing. And then I need to share again. Share again, but this time with sound. So let's go to this course and just watch the beginning right here. Okay, so Llamaindex, I don't think it has a connection to Llama. It's just a nice way. Facebook invented Llama because of LLM, and now they have taken that one. But it's quite amazing. I never heard about it just before this course. It's quite amazing that it's a new startup with a whole menu of different clients that they already have. So let's check. Okay, so they advertise a way of routing your LLM question. Routing is a good word because they really use it. And you can say first route it to the recognizing what the question is about, and then ask a summary and then do something else. So you know, I think it's mind-boggling. The very first time I listened to it, I was giddy. Oh, it's very interesting, very smart. And who is using them already? Well, all these guys are already using it. Now, that is not some big commercial as yet. but I'm sure they will come. So they talk about hundreds of clients. All right, now that we saw all of that, let's go and listen a little bit.
Welcome to Building Agentic RAG with Llamaindex. I'm joined by Jerry Liu, who is co-founder and CEO of Llamaindex and the instructor for this course.
Thanks, Andrew. I'm super excited to be here with you.
In this course, you learn about Agentic RAG, a framework to help you build research agents capable of advanced tool use, reasoning, and decision-making over your data. For example, what if you have a set of research papers on some topic and you want to pull out the parts relevant to a question you want to ask and get a synthesis of what the papers say? This is a complex request that requires multiple steps of processing. Further, earlier steps of processing, like maybe identifying a theme from one paper, might also change the later steps that are needed, like retrieving additional information from other papers about that theme. In comparison, the standard RAG pipeline, which is very popular, is mostly good for simpler questions over a small set of documents and works by retrieving some context, sticking that into an LM prompt, and then just calling the LM a single time to get a response. This course will take the idea of chatting over your data to the next level and show you how to build an autonomous research agent.
Okay. I got very excited. I think I will put it into my Skype program very soon because that's the next level. It's not the question of will you use AI or not. It's now the question of what your AI can do better than the other AI. So what does they show is, let's go here and let's not maybe listen to that too much. But instead,
in this lesson, document representation.
Let's look at the code example. The router, that's the keyword. So first of all, they load data, they connect the load data, that is obvious. But then they query different agents and do different actions depending upon what they want. So for example, they will, just the case that Andrew described, they will search for relevant documents and they will say, you can answer any question, but then could you summarize? In this case, they want, I think, to summarize their own paper. So you can, by the way, that's a way to promote their own paper. So you can do that and summarize it, and that's what the library is for. So you can combine multiple different models with multiple different capabilities, pricing. You see, that becomes quite impressive. So that's one. Now, that all is available to you guys if you, I'm closing that. So if you go to our summary of what we did today, all these links are available, but here I will also add the local implementation. Now, let's go here again, and we will see one interesting thing. So maybe. So let's just go to the top. Beta. I think that's the keyword. All of these courses are free, and you see how much, well, in progress, that's probably my progress, and I probably did touch every one of them. But beta tells you that maybe it does make sense to download and run locally, not only because you make sure you know what you're talking about, but also because maybe it will be behind the paywall. So both why it's good. Now that I convinced you to do that, I collect them here. So here is the learning path for everyone. Anybody who wants to learn about AI can start here at the top, and the first two are the perfect beginner courses. But then on the right here, I do put the repo in our Google Elephant Scale repository, and that is open. So if we just go to any one of these, you will see that usually it is a GitHub repository, and every course, they're all under OpenAI Labs, and there are other people who make very large projects this way. And so me too, I'm doing that. And, I was lax. Not everyone is local, but I will gradually do that. What happens is that, confession is that when I'm asked to teach, that's when I do it better, right? So I just taught Google Vertex last time, and now I can at least give you the links. I'm thinking, should I give you the class or no? No, you can learn about Vertex. That's not a big deal. But if you have to teach it to a group, then you need to prepare. And usually I prepare as kind of collection of links if it is somebody else's materials, and collection of my own materials. So here is the new course that we just talked about with all the accompanying information. And even though I didn't give anyone a chance to chat, to say a word, because we were taught a good lesson last time, but you can always chat. So it's right here. And what I will do is I will pause at a certain point, and I will allow you to at least ask the question. And if you need to talk, then just tell me. All right. So the next one, quantization is depth. That one is interesting because I couldn't even figure out what does that mean, the word quantization. Okay, let's go. Quantization means that take a model and reduce its size. That really is all. So let us say you're using 64-bit precision. You can get almost the same with 8-bit precision, and that's called quantization. Make your model small, quantize that, and let's go. Let's look a little bit here. So there's very smart dudes here from Hugging Face, and I say the guy has amazing Chinese and French accent, which is to me very nice. So we all know that Hugging Face is a French and American company. They are partially in Paris, partially in New York. All right. So that's personal side of this, but the technical side is that they show you how to do it. So let's go to the first one, and let's wait till
In this lesson, you will
till that appears, and they talk about how you take your data and how you convert that to a much, much smaller size. So that's a technical, not interesting to everyone whole thing, but I think that it's very important to at least know what they're talking about. What is this quantization? After all, Agentic has built a whole course on that. So it must be that it's not easy. It must be. They have the wonderful picture, I think, in the overview. Yes, in the overview, they have a wonderful slide. So let's start here.
Quantization methods are used to make models smaller, which makes them more accessible to the AI community. In this lesson, you'll get an overview of what quantization is and how it works. Let's get started. We have seen previously that quantization is an exciting topic as it enables us to shrink models for better accessibility to the community. In this lesson, we will learn how to implement some quantization primitives from scratch, and we will also implement our own model quantizer and cover some challenges that anyone can face when it comes to lower bit quantization, such as weight packing. Let's get started. So let's first have a quick glance on what we have learned so far from the first course. So in the introduction of the first course, we listed all available techniques that one could use in order to compress a model in general. So first of all, quantization aims at representing parameters of the model in a lower precision.
And that's the essence of it. That's low precision. Instead of floating point numbers with 32-bit representation, they're using integers with 8-bit representation, and they reduce their model 4 times, and that's it. What they do is a linear approximation. In other words, something in the middle in this floating point scale will be in the middle in the integers. And no, not a groundbreaking thing, but to them it's very exciting and deserves the whole course. That is all that I want to tell you about that. And now I want to do this. I want to go here, and we covered all the news that I thought were interesting, and even that part was about doing it in real life, practically. All right. But now I'm going to talk about what interesting things I have done. And before I do this, I will stop share. Okay. Okay. And I will be mute for a few seconds and let you ask the questions if there are any questions. Okay, so the reason I asked this question about who wants to try these courses, and remember, these are Android courses and they're all free. So the reason I asked this question is because I want to measure how much effect do they have with showing you what's the latest. Hey, nobody wants to do this yet, so let's spruce it with something practical. Sharing the screen again. And I plan a press release as soon as I am able to click button on submit. I'm going to advertise what we have done. So what we have done is Skype. If you remember that, good. If not, I'll show that in a second. What you can do is here, and that's the advertisement for it. It's a program that you can join. The application explains what it does. It's a free program. You get computing resources. If it is an interesting use case you're working on and you want to work with us, then you get our programs for free also. So first use case is e-discovery. Next one is any kind of AI with discovery documents. Oh, not necessarily with e-discovery. AI with any documents. So let's put it with any documents. That's really the truth. And so I had those 22 applications and people were admitted. But now I think we've done a good job. We did one release. We improved the speed of AI indexing, and we improved the OCR, optical character recognition. And with that, we have the second release, and we actually have the process ready. Now, whoever comes, if that is an interesting use case, we'll be working with him. So, time to put a PR. Let's see, somebody said something, it's here. Okay, Victor says in one way or another he will learn, because that's the whole purpose of it, it's learning. So that's the program, and that is the PR. Okay, the PR, by the way, is open, that's here. And so I am giving you the link, and that link goes on the, isn't right? Oh, that's already there. Okay, very good. That's what it is, and why I explain to people exactly that same thing, except it is more of a marketing shtick here. So I explain who can come and who might be interested. Well, and next week I hope to tell you how many people came, right? That's practical, and I think that covers everything. So here is this plan of our talk, and we've done. And therefore, if you are going to ask any questions, please do so, because if not, we'll just say goodbye and wish you a great week, a great weekend, and a great next week, and a great year to come. Yes, Al. 5.3 runs on mobile device. Yes, that's the one of the big trends in those LLMs. Apple wants to do them on mobile devices, and eventually it will come to Apple phone. And I think they have already published 2 papers, so I think it's coming. The phone will be very smart, even without the internet, and probably that brain will be very fast. So that all requires technology, and they are working on it. Yes, 5.3 does run on the mobile device, and other models also. And for that, they use a lot of tricks. Like Apple only activates special parts of the brains because they have limited memory. Remember, much more limited than usually is the case with the LLMs. So they activate them in a special way to put it into memory. Yes. Well, what Apple uses is a good thing. I think we should have Apple here somewhere. Oh, tiny models like here. Let's look at the word tiny. You can find it. So, oh, here, for example. But the link is not the big deal. They have published 2 articles. It's pretty easy to find it on Google. So just keep in mind that Apple is preparing AI in their phone. The same thing, I think, is going with multiple computer manufacturers, and Intel is preparing an AI chip that will be inside of Intel, and so are the other computer makers. So AI is still speeding up. And one indicator is that, look, there were 2 new courses this week. So I think there will be more and more interesting things here. What are we pure for humans to do? Oh, there you are. The noob from Hugging Face, and I haven't even heard about this. So what we do is search for that. Right? Find it. This is a foundation model trained by H2O, another AI company, and therefore it definitely deserves a look. And what we will do is put it on the next time here. And that will be for the next time. Of course, there will be more stuff because every week it's guaranteed to be something interesting and new. All right. Thank you. So we had a little conversation, and I wish you guys all the best. Thank you. Thank you. Hey.